Hello guys, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today I'll be talking about clones and alternatives of famous men's fragrances from the brand of Dior. The brand of Dior is a great brand. Over the years they've created many great fragrances, both masculine and feminine scents. But because they're more on the top end, their prices usually can reach very high levels. And especially in the last few years, fragrances created by the brand of Dior tend to go for quite a bit of money. So it's only natural for people to start looking for alternatives for those famous scents from the brand of Dior. Now, the first line of men's fragrances that I'm going to cover in today's video is going to be the Sauvage line. And I'm going to start with something that doesn't feel like a straight up clone of anything from that line, but definitely can serve as a great alternative for the OG Dior Sauvage EDT. It comes from the brand of Armaf and it's called Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. Now again, as I said, this is not a straight up clone of Dior Sauvage EDT, but definitely smells a lot like it. But Armaf have done an interesting twist. They've added some fruity sweetness in the opening of this fragrance, making this one feel like a little bit of a mix between Dior Sauvage EDT and Creed Aventus or Club de Nuit Intense Man, the OG Club de Nuit Intense Man, which of course is a clone of Creed Aventus. So you get mostly the scent profile of Dior Sauvage EDT, but with some added touches, fruity touches, some added Club de Nuit Intense Man touches. And that doesn't change anything. This combination still remains super versatile, just like the original fragrances, both Dior Sauvage EDT and Creed Aventus. This is very masculine, it's very likable, very easy to wear, it's super versatile, and to top everything off, this also offers really nice quality and especially performance. This is a pretty strong fragrance. So this is the first sort of an alternative, not a straight up clone. The next one that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of Afnan and it's called Modeste Un per Homme. And this can be perceived as a mix between Dior Sauvage EDT and Dior Sauvage EDP, maybe leaning a little bit to the EDT side, maybe leaning for some people to the EDP side. It doesn't matter because the original scents smell, close enough to each other. Modeste Un is actually a very nice clone of both EDT and EDP Sauvage. And quality is great, just like with almost any other fragrance from the brand of Afnan. Offers very nice performance. It can be found for a very cheap price, and all around this is a super versatile and inexpensive alternative for those of you who are looking for an alternative to the EDT version of Dior Sauvage. The next one that I've included in today's video is actually a clone, a straight up clone of Dior Sauvage EDP, and this one comes from the brand of Maison Alhambra and it's called Sauvage Intense. And to be honest, I was really surprised by the quality of this fragrance. I paid very little money for this one. At the time that I got it, I paid less than 15 euros, and I didn't have really any expectations whatsoever about Sauvage Intense, but actually turned out to be a very decent clone. In fact, surprisingly good. Once again, I'm going to say that. Smells very similar to Dior Sauvage EDP, offers really nice quality for its price, and also offers really good performance as well. And at that price point, I don't know how much it costs nowadays. Probably it's a little bit more expensive, but still it's a bargain compared to the original fragrance. This is just like the EDP flanker in the Dior Sauvage line. This is slightly sweeter, a little bit darker, a little bit more mature, but still remains very versatile, very masculine, very easy to wear, and all around this is a great option and a great alternative for Dior Sauvage EDP. And the last original fragrance in the Dior Sauvage line that I'm going to show you, two alternatives in this case, will be the latest flanker, which was released a few years ago, and of course I'm talking about the Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now the first one is more of a twist, more of an alternative, just like Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir was. This is called Guide and it comes from the brand of Hadlage. And this is like a way sweeter, a way more vanillic take on the Dior Sauvage Elixir scent profile. And it actually smells very nice. If you like Dior Sauvage Elixir but you find it a little bit too warm, a little bit too spicy for your taste, even I sometimes find it a little bit too spicy to wear, Guide actually takes care of those issues with the original fragrance, because this smoothens the scent a little bit. Of course, I'm not saying that this is better than the original, it's just less spicy. So just it feels a little bit smoother. In the opening it feels quite close to Sauvage Elixir, but on the dry down actually it turns into something a lot sweeter, a lot more vanillic, and probably this is a lot more wearable for a lot of people out there. It's very cheap. I personally got it for less than 15 euros, and at that price point this is a real bargain in my opinion, because it costs a fraction of the price of the original fragrance, while at the same time offering quite a nice quality, also very decent performance, and you know, what more you can ask for from a cologne fragrance. The next one that I've included in today's video is what in my opinion is the highest quality cologne of Sauvage Elixir. It comes from the brand of Al Haramain and it's called Aslan Oud Blue Edition. And this smells very similar to Sauvage Elixir. Maybe still feeling slightly less spicy, ever so slightly less spicy, slightly less licorice compared to the original fragrance, but other than that smells super close, especially in the air, pretty much identical, and offers absolutely fantastic quality. This is probably the most expensive fragrance that I've included in today's video, so sometimes or more often than not quality comes at a price, but still this costs around about half the price of the original, and that's for a 100 milliliter bottle of Aslan Oud Blue Edition versus a 60 milliliter bottle of the original fragrance. Offers absolutely fantastic performance, quality is fantastic, especially after some maceration. This is pretty beastly when it comes to performance, and all around offers the high quality that you would expect from something out of the brand of Al Haramain. Now let's move on to the other main line in the lineup of Dior, which is the Dior Homme line. The first fragrance from the Dior Homme line that I'm going to show you an alternative for is Dior Homme Sport, and the fragrance that is the alternative comes again from the brand of Maison Alhambra, and it's called Dark Door Sport. In fact, I'm going to show you one more fragrance from Maison Alhambra a little bit later on. This one is a clone of Dior Homme Sport, and it's actually a pretty nicely done clone of Dior Homme Sport. Now it doesn't feel super close to the original, it doesn't have super high quality, but still in there smells quite similar to Dior Homme Sport. It's spicy, it's citrusy, it's woody, it's musky. This to my nose feels sort of more musky than the original fragrance. Probably that's the main difference, but this all around is as as versatile as the original one. The original one actually is a super versatile scent, probably the most versatile fragrance in the whole Dior Homme line. And Dark Door Sport actually can serve as a very nice alternative. It's very cheap, offers decent quality, offers very decent performance, and all that. I mean, for a very affordable price tag. The next one that I'm going to show an alternative for, again, this one doesn't feel like a straight up clone, more like an alternative, comes from the brand of Armaf, and it's called Futura La Homme, and this one can be sort of taken as an alternative for Dior Homme Original. What was back in the day simply called Dior Homme, nowadays is called Dior Homme Original. So it's the lightest iris fragrance in the Dior Homme line. Now this to my nose actually feels a little bit closer to Valentino Uomo Intense, to be honest, but still Dior Homme, the Valentino Uomo Intense and Dior Homme the original, they smell pretty close to each other, and Futura La Homme actually can serve as a great alternative to both fragrances. It's lipsticky, it has that waxy powdery iris in here. You get some fruits, you get some woods, maybe a hint of spices. This is a hidden gem of a fragrance from the brand of Armaf, and if you like iris based fragrances, powdery fragrances, you should definitely check out Futura La Homme from the brand of Armaf. And now let's move on to two clones of Dior Homme Intense. Now we're getting to the most spicy stuff. The first one again comes from the brand of Maison Alhambra. It's part of the very same line, and this one is called Dark Door Intense. And this is an interesting fragrance because as a scent on its own, this actually smells super close to the original fragrance. Probably one of the two very best fragrances, clone fragrances of Dior Homme Intense that I have in my collection when it comes to closeness to the original one. This smells super close. You get the lipsticky powdery iris, you'll get the sweet pear note, you'll get the musks, you'll get some of the woods. This smells super close. You get that chocolatey vibe out of it. I mean, all around the scent itself is done really nicely. and this just smells superb. There's only one main problem with this fragrance, and that's the performance. Total longevity is not that bad, lasts for 67 hours on my skin, but it lacks when it comes to projection. You really need to overspray this one in order to get some sort of a good projection out of it. Other than that though, this smells very, very nice, and it's a real shame that Maison Alhambra didn't make, or Latafa didn't make this one a little bit stronger, because if it was a little bit stronger, this would probably be the best clone of Dior Homme Intense. The next one is what a lot of people consider to be the best clone of Dior Homme Intense, and I'm one of those people. I think this is one of the two very best clones, and it's called Cayenne Classic. It comes from the brand of Al Wataniya, and this smells pretty much like Dark Dior Intense, but on steroids basically. It has the same closeness to the original fragrance, but this also has really nice performance. Not exactly the same performance-wise as the original one, but still getting very close and a lot better than Dark Dior Sport, Dark Dior Intense, excuse me. So this is probably the clone of Dior Homme Intense to get at the moment. But if it's a little bit too pricey, and if you can find Dior Homme, if you can find Dark Dior Intense, then this one also, you know, is good, as long as you don't mind the slightly subpar performance. And the last fragrance that I've included in today's video is a clone slash alternative for Dior Homme Parfum, what in my opinion is probably the best men's fragrance ever created. It comes from the brand of FOMO, and it's called Garisden Le Parfum. Now this, unlike some of the other fragrances that I showed you so far, this doesn't feel exactly the same as the original one, doesn't come super close scent-wise, but still, you know, keeping in mind the fact that the original is hard to find, probably will be discontinued soon, can be very expensive, I think this is one of the best, if not the best alternatives for Dior Homme Parfum. It still keeps some of that iris powderness, but you'll get the addition of leather, of some agar oud. This has a slightly different type of leather note in it compared to the original fragrance. Also, it's less powdery than the original one, but in there actually smells quite close. The good things about FOMO Le Parfum is that it still gets close scent-wise, but it also offers a very, very strong performance and very good projection as well, and all that for a fraction of the price of the original fragrance. So guys, in today's video I showed you 10 clones and alternatives of famous men's Dior fragrances. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.